Alright, happy asynchronous day everyone. Today we are going to be working on our build a membrane activity, and this is the final product. We'll get into what all this is in the video and I'll help you make it, but this is what we're working to build, a model of the membrane. Okay? And this activity today is going to be used to showcase your ability to demonstrate two of our learning targets, right? We've got our first learning target, which is that using a model, I can explain and discuss the function and structure of the phospholipid bilayer. And we're also going to be showing learning target number 2, which is that I can analyze and explain how and why different types of transport are used to move different molecules across the membrane. And the first thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to cut out all the pieces of the build a membrane model. So you can see them here and here and here. All right, so when you're cutting out your model, do not cut on the dotted lines, only cut on the solid lines, okay? You're gonna be using the dotted lines to fold the paper. So you must cut only on. Once you've cut out your pieces here, we're gonna start by folding on the dotted lines. So go through all of your pieces of paper and fold on the dotted lines. I'll come back once you're done. Here's just a side note for an example on this piece of paper. You will be folding them backwards, right? So the dotted line is here. You will fold this back. You will fold this piece back. And you will fold this piece back to make a box. Alright guys, so this is what we started with. We started with this piece of paper, which is our phospholipid bilayer, and what we're going to do is we're going to fold on the dotted lines, alright, so that this piece creates a box. So we want to fold, we're looking at the pattern in front of us, right? If you're looking at it like this and the pattern is facing you, you want to fold this back on the dotted line, back on the dotted line on every piece. Alright, so if you're looking at the pattern here, just like I am, so the pattern's on the side close to me, you fold this back and you're going to make a box. Once you've folded all of the places on the dotted line, you're going to go ahead and you're going to tape this box up. So you should have to put a big piece of tape here on the back and now also on the sides to get our box together. Once you've done that, we'll move on and we'll work on the proteins. Alright, so once you have taped all these pieces together, you should be left with this box. Alright, those pieces are bottom and this is the top here. Alright, as you can see, I would fail 3D Foundations because I can't do arts and crafts. Anyways, this is where you should be at right now. You should have this box. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to fold over on the dotted lines again. We're going to fold our protein. So we can see we have a protein here, right? The dotted line is here. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to fold on the dotted lines, all right? All right, so this protein is our transporter protein. I know I kind of covered this up, right? But this is what you should look like, all right? This is what you should get. And you're going to repeat that same process of building those proteins with all the rest of them. Alright, so you're going to fold these on the dotted line so that you are able to build the structure. And then we'll move on from there. Alright, so this is what the ion channel looks like, right? We can see the spot where ions are going through. So once you construct your ion channel, this is what you should be left with. Alright, this is the receptor protein. Alright, so it's very circular. This is what this one looks like. Alright, now that you have your receptor protein, you've got your transporter protein or your carrier protein, as we talked about in class, and you have your ion channels here. This one here where you can see the ion channel, right? Now we can go ahead and we can assemble these proteins onto our model. So what you're going to do is you'll notice that there's a gap here, right? So these guys, just like on an actual membrane, they fit right on the side. So you can see this is a integral protein, right? It runs the entire length of the membrane, all right? And you're going to tape this right onto here. So it should sit pretty flush once it sits in there, all right? And you're going to go ahead and you can just place them in different places around the membrane. Alright, so this is what it looks like when we've got all of our integral proteins on here. We've got our receptor protein, the transporter protein, which just fell off because of my bad taping job. Alright, and we've got our channel protein as well. Alright, so this is what it should look like when you have your integral proteins. They fit right around the edges of the model. Next, we're going to do the peripheral proteins that go on the top of the model. Remember, they don't go all the way through the membrane. You're now going to complete the building process for the tethered protein and the anchored protein. Alright, so now we have our finished product. We've added our peripheral proteins. Quickly, just how you add them. This is the tethered protein. You can see here there's these little tethers that come down, and you just tape the tethers to the side and this sits on top. Same thing over here with our anchored protein. There's a flap that sticks down right here. You tape it to the side and we've got our peripheral proteins on the surface of the membrane. Alright, and so what I want us to do now is I want us to go through our membrane. Alright, you can either do this by making a video or by taking a picture of your model and creating a Google Docs document and explaining these different things that I'm about to ask you to do right now. What I want you to do is I want you to go through each of these proteins. We've got our ion channel, or our channel protein. I want you to explain what is being transported and what kind of transport this is. We've got our transporter protein over here. Alright, same thing. I want you to tell me what type of transport this is. Is it active transport, passive transport, what type of diffusion this is, and I want you to tell me what is being transported. Alright, for the receptor protein, we didn't talk about this much in class. What I want you to explain about this is that a receptor protein binds to molecules in the space outside of the cell. And when those molecules bind to the receptor protein, right, they trigger a response inside the cell. So it could be some type of neurotransmitter that bonds to this receptor protein, which then triggers a process inside of the cell. Okay? And I want you to go through all of these proteins as well, and I want you to tell me which ones are our peripheral proteins and which ones are our integral proteins. Alright? Also, I would like you to explain the general structure of the phospholipid bilayer. Tell me how it's arranged, which part is hydrophobic, which part is hydrophilic, okay? And that is all that I would like you to do with this model. Alright, remember you can either make a video or you can write a reflection as long as you include a picture of this model there. I'll be available all day tomorrow. I'll be checking my email if you need help assembling this. I'd be more than happy to have a Zoom meeting with you. As you can see, I'm pretty horrible at crafts, like I said earlier, so I'm not an expert, but I am more than happy to help.